Okay, so we've made two graphs now. We've made liters per highway miles and then liters per city miles. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to start changing it. So I didn't talk about it before, but now I'm going to talk about it. When we go back and look at the code, this AES stands for aesthetic. And that is a visual property that we can put to our plot. We can do things like shape, size, color of your points. Be careful with this though, because sometimes you can add color and it's extremely confusing. You want to be very purposeful for what you do to add the color. So then what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this code again and let's run it. So I'm going to go here to tidyverse. I'm going to start a new line. I'm going to go ggplot and I'm going to copy it. Let me do this. And we're going to talk about what it is once I've run it. Okay, well, we'll look at the code first. Okay, I'm going to Control C. All right, so what's going to go on here? Okay, so what I'm going to do, again, I'm doing a ggplot. My data is my miles per gallon. Again, I have to call to it every time because tidyverse doesn't remember it. So I'm going to do a geometric plot. I'm going to do mapping, and the aesthetic is, again, X is my liters, Y is my highway miles, and then I'm going to put color for class. So what does that mean? So if I go back to my data set, and again, I've got this tibble up here, class, it tells me, is it a compact? Is it an SUV? That's what it's doing. So that's important. So if I look at the car up here, remember we talked about variables. This is, they've put it in a group. It's a nominal thing, but they've said, hey, I'm gonna put all these cars by their class: compact, midsize, SUV. So that's another way that I can look at it. So if I go here and let's say I'm gonna do ggplot for liters versus highway miles with classes by color. Okay. So why did I do that? I did that again to tell myself what it was. So I can do this. And let's go see what it does for me. And there it goes. All right. So it gives me again, all my stuff. But then if I go down here, look what it did. So I can see here, okay, compact cars are up here, and then subcompact, which is another type of car. So I can see here my subcompact and my compact cars are giving me the best miles per hour, miles per gallon. All right, and then I can look here and there's some minivans and mid-sized cars. And then if I look over here, I see something kind of surprising. I'm not surprised by the SUVs because there's anything from 3-cylinder up to 7-liter. But look at the 2-seaters. For some reason, my 2-seaters, the more they do, the more liters they have, I'm getting okay gas mileage. So that's telling me probably those are sports cars. So that is a way that I can do it. All right, so let's go do something else. All right, we looked at city before. Let's look at city again. So I'm going to copy this because maybe I'm just curious to see if I'm seeing the same thing. So I'm going to change this to city miles. And then I'm going to change this to city. Again, I haven't typed out the code. I've copied it. So why am I doing this? I will keep this, and I may save this file, this Word document, and I might say ggplots. And I'll keep this somewhere where I can get it again in the future. And if I ever get confused about making a graph, I have my R markdown that has all my graphs that I easily can look at. All right, so I'm going to knit it again. There it goes. And here I have it. All right, so let's compare. Oh, look, and it did it on the same page, which is lovely. So here's highway. Here is city. Again, I'm seeing the exact same thing. But I'm also seeing, though, that city, I'm not getting as many miles as I would on the highway, which is usually common. So again, all I've done in these two compared from what we did before is I added a class here. So what I did is I took my X and my Y, and then I used a color to break it down by class. So if I pop this up on a meeting or if I showed it to somebody, they could easily interpret what is going on. And again, if I wanted to save it, I'd go to File, Save, and I would call this Tidyverse ggplots. And I would put maybe dots, colors, stuff like that. I would give it description and then I would save it. So then I'd have it where I needed it. So I would have it for future.